What's going on, guys? It's Coach Noob back in the building with another one. As usual, it's going to be jam packed full of jewels. Anytime is always appreciated because you could be doing anything, but you're going to be checking out these reviews. And this one is another crazy one, bro. It's about a man who kills his 3 week old daughter with a crossbow. Let's get to it.
A Nineveh man is charged with murder for allegedly killing his 3 week old daughter with a crossbow. This morning at around 5:14, Broome County Sheriff's deputies and EMS responded to 2208 Route 41 in Colesville for a report that a woman and an infant had been shot with a crossbow.
Hey, mental health, physical health, spiritual health, decision making, man. You know what I'm saying? Let's get that out the way because it's crazy that you even had a crossbow in your hand, arguing with a woman with a 3 week old baby, bro, and then somehow it goes off. Stop it, man.
The investigation revealed that 26-year-old Patrick Profright got into an argument with his wife and fired a crossbow while she was holding their 3 week old daughter, Eleanor Carey.
All right, man. So you arguing with your wife, bro, and a crossbow goes off while she has a baby in her hand, bro. 3 weeks old at that. That's a fresh baby, man. We don't know if that was your first kid or not or whatever, but you know, even if it wasn't, you know what I'm saying? You're supposed to have more common sense than that. That's how you know common sense ain't too common, bro. And then, you know, mentally, bro, arguing with your woman anyways, that's crazy, man. You know, that's you're not supposed to do that. Cause really, when you do that, it's like you in your feelings, bro. You know, going back and forth with a woman about some shit, and really, you should have been worried about getting some bread, bro. If you just had a 3 week old, man, to take care, you know what I'm saying, your wife and kids, bro. Sitting there arguing is a sign that you in your feelings too, man. And when you, most of the times, it, you know, you trying to get your point across, and you're getting more upset, and things get out of hand, and then shit like this happens. How it happened, and now the crossbow ends up going off, and then you did something you couldn't take back, man. You unalived your daughter, bro. All from arguing with her mom, and you know, it seems like all right. So he was arguing with his wife, bro, and their daughter's 3 weeks old, man. So to me, it seems like they were arguing, you know, during the pregnancy, probably before she got pregnant, you know, and if it's not working, bro, don't make decisions that, you know, they're not going to help you in the long run. Like if you got a woman or something and y'all always arguing, that doesn't need to be your woman, bro, because it's not helping anything when you always argue. You see what it led to, you know. So, and then 26 years old was way too young to even be arguing with, you know what I'm saying, a woman, bro. At any age is, you know, you shouldn't even be doing it. But 26 years old, man, it's so much stuff that he could have been doing out there. Yeah, you decided to have a family and shit like that, but maybe it wasn't the right woman because you're always arguing. And you know, there is some it's some women out there that's not gonna want to argue with you, man. They gonna want to see you win, bro. So you know, you just gotta choose a woman that's good for you, bro, by having the mental, physical, and spiritual awareness, man, to see if you guys are equally yoked, which means you matching up and stuff like that in more ways than one, bro. And you know, she's not always trying to start arguments with you. You're not always trying to start arguments with her. You know, you guys are helping each other more than you're hurting each other, things of that nature. And, you know, it usually works out like that when people just want to see each other win, help each other win in a relationship, bro. This, yeah, that's wild.
The bolt hit Eleanor in the upper torso, exiting near her armpit before striking the mother in the chest. Profright allegedly removed the arrow and attempted to stop the woman from calling 911, then fled the scene. Deputies secured the area, located the weapon, and attempted life saving measures on the infant. The mother was transported to Wilson Hospital to be treated. However, Eleanor was pronounced dead at the scene.
Hey, so when you doing, you did something like messed up, or that you want to take back, or you regret, and we're not supposed to do stuff that we regret, or we're gonna end up regretting in life. But mistakes do happen. At the same time, some of this magnitude, bro. You fucked up when you gotta ask somebody not to call the police, and then you go on the run, bro. After you just made a decision. That's why I always say the decisions you make affect you and everyone around you, man. So you just made a decision that was messed up because you were in your feelings, and now you try to ask her not to call 911, bro. Like, it's not gonna happen, especially if that was her first baby. In the way that stuff went down, and it could have been avoided. She's definitely calling the police, bro, because that baby's not moving anymore, and her and the baby got hit with an arrow, bro. So it seemed like you might have had to aim that thing. You weren't just like it was in your hand and it was pointed at the ground and it went off. That'd have been something different, bro. But it was up in the air to the point where it pierced two people. You know what I'm saying? And one of them didn't make it. So it. You could tell, man, you in your feelings when something like that happened, bro.
Having a newborn child should be the greatest thing in life. Should not push you to commit homicide, and that's exactly what Mr. Profrey did. As far as I'm concerned, he's a he is a repugnant human being.
It seemed like he was gonna call him a bitch, bro. But he had to use repugnant instead of what I'm saying what he really wanted to say. And repugnant, extremely distasteful, and unacceptable. You know what I'm saying? So that's the best word he could use for that dude, man. Which is, it is, man. It was distasteful, bro. Arguing with a woman with a baby in her hand, even arguing with a woman at all, bro. It's it's something mentally wrong with you, bro. I mean, we've all argued with a woman before or something, or a lot of us have, man. But if you knew better, you do better. So when you know it that it's draining your energy, you know, in more ways than one. It's not helping you. You're not gonna win an argument because you're just not. That's what women live off their emotions, bro. They're professional arguers, man. You're just not gonna, it doesn't, it's not gonna help you, man. Just don't do it. Don't even try it, bro. And you can avoid situations like this by not arguing, by even getting to know the woman that you with, if she's even worth having babies with, especially like if you are gonna be arguing, because you could tell, bro, they argued before. It's not their first argument, man. And this one just got way out of hand. And that is why if sometimes it's better not to be with the woman, bro. Just go work on yourself, and once you got all your little issues or your trauma from wherever you had going on, once that's cool, then go get your woman, bro. But don't, what I'm saying, have a bunch of issues and think that a relationship is gonna just fix everything when all that baggage and shit is just gonna carry over, and you're gonna end up putting all that on her, and she might not even had anything to do with it, and vice versa too. Though, you know what I'm saying, a woman could bring baggage and put the shit on you, and you didn't do anything. So that's why it's good to just be healed and in a healthy relationship opposed to a toxic one, man.
Law enforcement formed a perimeter around the area and eventually found Profrite in the woods less than a mile from the home after his pickup became stuck in mud. He's charged with murder, attempted murder, and criminal contempt and awaits arraignment scheduled for
The truck got stuck in the mud, bro, because, you know what I'm saying, you was doing something you ain't had no business doing anyway, man. And, it was meant for you to deal with the consequences of your actions, bro. So you got caught, man. And it's so important, bro, to just think about, the consequences and what could happen and what's gonna happen if you go through with whatever you're about to do, man. Especially arguing with some broad, bro. And, you know, maybe having this baby wasn't the best thing if you were always arguing, bro. That's not gonna make anything better having a baby. You know, it- especially if you already got some type of issues going on, maybe financial or something like that, bro. It's only gonna make it worse because now you gotta get out there and get it for two people or three people instead of just two, and man, it just makes stuff that much harder, man. So you know, again, it's important to just have somebody that is working with you, not against you. We don't know what they were arguing about or anything like that. But the fact that they were arguing and with a baby that was 3 weeks old just makes me think that they been arguing, bro. And this wasn't the first one. Might be the last one, but if this wouldn't have happened, bro, it wouldn't have been the last one, man. Which is crazy.
this evening.
That's the end of that one, bro. So, anyways, it's Coach Newt, man. Like, share, comment, subscribe if you're digging this kind of content. Anytime is always appreciated. Because you could be doing anything but you hear me checking out these reviews. Until next time, I'm out.